Hey everybody, Steve Bergen here, and we are talking about Educreations, one of the true classics in the history of the iPad. I am serious about that. I keep it stored in my E section, my E folder, because I'm alphabetically obsessed. Sorry about that. I'm going to go to Educreations, and what you'll see after you create an account, yes, you have to create an account. What you're going to see here are projects that you've done, and then one draft, just one draft you're allowed, which I'm going to work through with you on fractions. Only other thing that's interesting here is in the star, you have featured lessons by the Educreations people on projects that they've liked, right, in various areas and things that they believe constitute interesting lessons that other teachers might be interested in using. So take advantage of the star. Create an account, it's free, and now we will work through creating the lesson on fractions, right? So Educreations gives you paper and lets you have slides, and you have to do a little prep work before you're ready to record your voice. So I went on the web and went to a website and got graphics for 1/2 and 1/3. And then I chose to write with text on here. How do you write with text? You press the plus symbol and you use the A tool, and you can tap anywhere to add text. Okay, so I'm going to add text here. I'll add it right on top of this, right? And I will see it, call it the Grand Kahuna. And you'll see why I'm doing that as we get to the video. There's pictures I got from the web. There's graph paper. You have in the upper right-hand corner the ability to change to any one of 4 background papers that you like. Okay, so you have that kind of paper. Page 5, I got a worksheet from the web and Stonehenge from the web, and then I copied and pasted and put my sources in. Okay, I encourage you to do that, partly because it's good computer skill and partly because it's being honest and having integrity when it comes to doing these projects. So if I were to get a picture to put in right over here, I'm going to use the 5-finger swipe and go on the web, and I'm going to get a picture from the world of fractions, and I'll go to images and I'll see a fraction wall, and I'll visit the page. I'll choose view image. I'll tap and hold. I'll save it to my camera roll, and then I'll tap the URL, tap again and choose copy, and now use the 5-finger swipe to come back here. And whoops, that's an undo. I'm going to go to my bibliography and go into text mode, which means I press the plus, I go into text, I tap on the text, and now I can press return once or twice, and then I can tap and hold and choose paste. And now I'm pasting in my latest annotation. You can move the text around. You cannot resize the text. You cannot resize the text. Okay, and I emphasize that. There's limited things you can do. Once you start building your page. Okay, so let me get this properly in alignment. Okay, you can, on any blank page, press plus, and you have 3 features on the top. Text, which we've talked about, and you're typing in a limited size, just one size, or you can press the graphic and get a graphic from the camera roll. So for example, I just put that picture in. You can resize this, right? You can rotate it as you see on the bottom. You can fit the width. So if I say fit the height, it will get as tall as it can. I can move it over. You can get a live picture, but they want you to pay money to get the pro version, right? And so some of the special features are disabled on the bottom. But you can absolutely search on the web. See that on the bottom? Search on the web. And you can also get something from your Dropbox or Google Drive. So it's pretty nicely connected with that. Now, the essence of Educreations is voice recording and writing at the same time. So I'm going to try to be on the clock and make a 2-minute video for my 4th graders. Okay? I've done this prep work before. And you'll see there'll be a time or two that I'm going to have to breathe by pressing pause. Hi, boys and girls. Mr. Bergen here. Right? You see 2 circles. Right over here, what fraction is this? Right? I will outline this in red for you. Right over there, that's a whole circle. That's a whole pizza. And now this black part represents 1 fraction. Ah, I heard someone say a half. Perfectly. Let's do it over here. This green circle that I'm drawing on highlights that. What portion of that? There are 3 equal portions. There we go. So we're going to add 1/2 plus 1/3. Okay, I call this the Grand Kahuna because it is a really hard problem. Really hard. I'm going to go 1/2 plus 1/3. There's so many people, including adults, who can't get this right. Let me duplicate the page and the ink. And now over here, I'm going to use yellow and get a common denominator. The bottom is called the denominator. And this 2 becomes 6, and this 3 becomes 6. Because 2 times 3, as you heard in class, is 6. But if you make the bottom 6, you have to do something to the top. So I'm going to say 3, and I'm going to say 2. Why? Because you multiply the top and bottom by 3, and you multiply the bottom, top, and bottom by 2 over here. Okay, teachers, I just pressed pause because I got to breathe. Oh, man, I've been recording for 90 seconds. You see, 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay, I can take a break and think about what I'm going to do next. It's not like Puppet Pals where you have to record straight nonstop. Okay, so I can breathe now, think what I want to do, right? Get my energy back, get my breath back, my focus back, right? Notice I used the feature called Duplicate Page. That's a really good feature, right, that makes this page be a duplicate of the previous one, and it saves them both. Okay, so, okay, boys and girls, I got harder problems for you, but 3/6 plus 2/6 equals 5/6. And you gotta know that when you come back after vacation. How about this one? Right, what fraction is this? I'll let you think about it for a second, and then in blue I will write the answer. Aha, 1/6, and over here, ooh, what is that? We've seen that before. We've seen it. You got it? There you go, 1/3. Okay, what's the common denominator? Let me duplicate the page. Common denominator, right? Whoops, I made a mistake. Let me duplicate the page with ink. What's the common denominator in 6 and 3? Remember, we went over common denominator. Common denominator is 6. If that's going to be 6, what's the top got to be? That's right. Okay, you got to add those 2 things. Right, you're getting better. Good, 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 good. Right, you've seen this fraction wall poster right above my desk, and this we're going to learn to use over and over again. There is a famous place in England, and they used fractions to build that stone wall, Stonehenge. They used fractions to do that. And I'm going to ask you to reduce each of these fractions on our worksheet. Okay? So, boys and girls, we cite our sources, and most of these graphics came from web pages, and that's a reference. Okay? And I'm just going to go back and show you different pages. And this is all the work that we did. And bye, boys and girls. See you next week. Okay, teachers. I caught my breath. I didn't make it in 2 minutes. I made it in 3 minutes. So Educreations lets you make a video out of your voice, recording, pausing what you want, and if I press the left arrow, I can save it as a draft so I can come back, but it's not much I can do with this, right? This has a very limited, right, Achilles toe. Pretty much it is one and done. So I'm going to choose Save Finish Video, and I'm going to just give it the least information that I need, right, as you're watching me, and I'll just call it Fractions SB, and then I will choose Save, and it publishes it in Educreation space. It does not let you put it in the camera roll, but notice that the draft is gone. So now I could go to plus, right, and I could make a new presentation all about whatever, Jane Eyre. I have one draft that I can be working on. See, there's one draft up top. On the bottom are my finished productions. And in the upper right is arrow in the box. And that arrow in the box lets you put it in a limited number of places. If it's not too big, you can email it. And there's the mail right up top that you can do. Unfortunately, saving the video, if you want to save it, you got to pay the money and upgrade to Pro. That's not a lot of fun. You can copy the link, and then you can have a link that you could use, right, so that people can see it on the web. And again, if you want to put it somewhere, right, you know, it's nothing bad. You know, these companies need to make money. That's their business, right? So they give you something for free. But at least you can produce something in Educreations, and you can have a video that everybody or a limited number of people can see if you want. All right? What haven't I talked about? I talked about the different kinds of paper, right? We talked about Plus for making text or adding pictures. We just have the colors. We can't do much with this once it's done. We talked about the next piece of paper using graph paper if you want to do that, and a limited set of tools, but you're talking while you're making this production. All right, Steve Bergen signing off, and I look forward to seeing what you can produce in Educreations. Bye, everybody.